Alrighty. Here we are, back again for the fifth ever episode of Wu-Tang Tactics. The goal is today, hopefully, we're going to have a lot of changes coming in on the next patch, 10.21, coming in tomorrow. We got myself, Joey Slayer 19. Then we got my co-host over here, Velocity, who has hit, Diamond 4 recently? Yeah, Diamond 4 on this so far, and I'm still sitting in Plat 3. Yeah, I fell further in Plat 3. Yeah, I'm still sitting in Plat 3. But other than that, we do got a lot going on in this patch. A lot of gameplay changes.
Yeah. This is a really big patch, and just to reiterate, I guess, how the patches have worked so far. I believe we got the initial release of this patch 10.19. We didn't have a hot fix.
No
Then
beat
we
patch.
had yeah, exactly, no B patch. And then we had patch 10.20, which was a light touch, a hot fix, and now we have patch 10.21 coming out in a few days.
Yeah, Mort Dog talked about that there was going to be a lot of big gameplay changes on this one. For those who have looked at the patch notes on the website for 10.21, you're going to get hit with two giant-ass Victorious pictures. So the first one is Victorious Hauntling if you just place gold or higher in one of the Galaxy set. And then there's what do they call this? Triumphant? Yeah, Triumphant Hauntling, which if you get gold for both of the Galaxy set, which is set 3 and 3.5. I don't know why they made these pictures like stupidly humongo big, but anyways, moving on from that. So starting out with the general system change where they made it overall in a nutshell, just from glancing through it, that they are going to make chosen units slightly more reliable for you, such that you only get one chosen unit of that kind one time in a shop and it doesn't repeat.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be interesting. So like I never play cultists anyways, but that's a personal problem, I suppose. But if I got one cultist chosen and didn't see another cultist chosen, for example, in the early shots, then it felt really bad because you need 3 to activate the trait, and if without a third one to ever activate it, then it just felt really bad.
I get chosen cultists like a third of my games, but I don't go.
And it makes sense for you to get it also, right? Because is it a lease? That's a 1 cost. So to roll an early chosen cultist can definitely happen.
Now you can get a lease, TF, and Pike pretty early with the chosen spat. Or not spat, sorry. Chosen
mechanic.
Cultist chosen. There we go.
Yeah, but exactly.
I don't know if it's talking about like you're only gonna see like a cultist chosen TF, and then later you may see chosen mage TF. Like I don't know if it's gonna be like that or just TF once period as a chosen. I don't know. I'm kind of lost in that wordage a little bit. But either way, if you're looking for a very specific chosen, it should be easier to hit because you'll just roll on by the other ones that you don't care about, which is nice for me because I'm usually fishing for one specific one sometimes, and it shoots me in the foot sometimes. You're also guaranteed one chosen, at least one, by 2-2. Which is the second PvP round, right?
Yes, exactly. So opening carousel, first 3 rounds, PvP round, and on the next round, at least the way I'm interpreting this, or if I'm interpreting it correctly, by that round, you should have at least seen one chosen by or around then, or at that time.
Before the carousel, you are guaranteed to see one chosen. Whether you like to purchase it or use it, that's up to you to meme with, bro. That is all up to you.
personally speaking, I feel like not this is one of those changes that not a lot of people are gonna see that's happening because I feel like um, whether you've noticed a lot or not, you either pick up the chosen that you wanted to see or you just didn't see a chosen. I don't think this has that high of a bearing on early gameplay, but we'll just have to see how the rest of the patch goes.
Like I said, I think it's a huge change, especially if you're playing something really specific like Six Dusk, which it's like super hard to hit without chosen.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got some general trait changes, right? The biggest one, obviously, at the top of general balancing is the big change to shade. So instead of the third attack making your unit go stealth, it's the fourth attack now.
Yeah, they worded it kind of weird, but another way to think about it is instead of on the third attack, they worded it after 3 attacks. So I guess if you had to reword that, it's
when it does
on the fourth attack.
Yeah, when it does its bonus damage, then it will go stealth, basically. Instead of like with the go stealth and then go bonus damage. So hopefully this will bring some more inconsistency of spells and stuff being dropped randomly when they go stealth. I've had that happen very often in sharpshooters.
Yeah, or maybe even last night when you were playing Aphelios and I was running this comp for the first time.
Oh, I was just getting my ass handed to me. You hit it perfectly, so nothing would have changed that. Nothing. I still would have lost second, but yeah, that's a pretty big change to Spirit Shades. So more than likely, it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna fall down to be like a B tier comp, more than likely, which we won't see very much of. Adept getting huge buffs. Those Adept units. Hunter actually got changed up a little bit, so now their damage percentage actually goes up instead of alongside with how often the bonus damage occurs.
Yeah, that's correct. I think this will have a decent impact. So essentially, it was 175% at all levels, but the amount of time it took to get the extra damage was decreasing with more hunters that you played. The way I understand this,
same. It was just how often the damage comes in. Because like
right.
Well, 2 was like I think 2 seconds. No, it was 2.5. 3 was 2 seconds, and 4 was like 1.5. Oh no, it was 1.75 and 5 was 1.5. I forgot.
Right. It was the same amount of damage over shorter periods of time. The more hunters you played,
right?
I think, and now it's higher after 2 hunters, and I don't know if the amount of time stayed the same or if you just immediately get the extra bonus damage.
I'm assuming the time changed the same, but the damage percentage changed. So
went up.
Yeah.
Okay. Damage went up, time stayed the same.
Like 2 is 150, 3 is 175% bonus like we saw before, 4 is 200%.
Right.
For like every 1.75 seconds, right? Something like that. Anyways, I think it's gonna bring like Spirit Hunters more power into that comp, and like if you go like Hunters, Elderwood, Ash Carry, probably bring more power into that comp.
Yep. Especially with Chosen Hunter Ash. Yeah, I think you get more power with that now.
Yeah.
Or Chosen Hunter Warwick is going to be a viable option instead of, you're running Brawler Ash and your options are Elderwood or more Brawlers, right? Now Hunter's not going to feel as bad, or we don't think it will.
They incorporate the idea of now having 5 Moonlights. This is not hittable unless you have a Chosen Moonlight. But now it stars up the lowest 2 champions. Which... Is 5 Moonlight going to be a viable comp in any way, shape, or form? I don't think so.
You know what? Actually, I think it might. So, hear me out. Aphelios already got some nerfs last patch, right?
He's still
People are
good.
still playing him.
Yeah, he's still
Yeah,
good.
I agree. So now you could potentially run 5 Moonlight with Diana and Aphelios carry. The only issue with that is even if one of them are chosen, you still need to
You still need to have
3-star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to play all of them, and you need to get all of them to 3-star if you want
The 4-star,
Aphelios
yeah.
and Diana 4-star.
Right.
But I think, which we'll get
Which
to later,
I think that's like the
the
highest pinnacle of high roll you can get to, which is why I believe it's not possible unless it's like you're just hitting, like you're just straight hitting every roll and slow rolling
yeah,
too, and slow rolling.
you would have to. The hardest part is 3-starring probably Silas, just given how Silas is used also in brawlers potentially, brawler Elderwood Ash comps. It'll be harder to hit, but you have the potential of running 2 4-star units if you 3-star all your Moonlights essentially and get a chosen Moonlight. So it might actually make Moonlight a lot of fun. You run Diana and Aphelios carry, and they're both 4-star. It doesn't seem so bad, but we'll have to see.
I guess not, but I don't think it's doable. All right, moving on. We got Mystics getting a 5-point buff on every level. The ninja buff I find very interesting for 4 ninjas. For the AD/AP bonus percentage scaling, it went from 120 to 150 for all 4 ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about this, considering that the only times I've ever seen 4 ninja really pop off is when you hit 3-star Akali and you're running assassins and have multiple 3-stars of the other assassins. Was the only time I've ever seen 4 ninjas work out. But Akali is still strong and is a 3 cost, unlike the previous set when she was originally in being a 4. So I don't know what to think about that. I think it'd be viable to run 4 ninjas and assassins, more viable now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I can't recall if I've seen it before. Can you get a chosen ninja, or do you have to run all 4 ninjas? There's 4, right?
Yeah, there's 4 ninjas, but I don't think a chosen ninja is possible. Because usually Akali, I think every time you get Akali, if she's chosen, it's chosen assassin every time. And Kennen is keeper, and Shen is mystic. Either chosen mystic or adept. And then Zed is chosen shade every time. So.
Okay. Yeah, I guess a chosen ninja would have been too broken to have in the game.
I don't know if it's broken. It just doesn't seem like the power's there unless you're just hitting again. 3-starring. The shade differences, and then we got 8 vanguards being being introduced now, where every vanguard in the 8 vanguard comp gets 1,500 armor.
Yeah, disgusting. But just a quick reminder, you need a chosen and a spatula, or 2 spatulas.
You don't need spatula, you just need a chosen vanguard. There's 8 vanguards in the game. I'm pretty sure.
There's 6.
No. You got Garen, Wukong, Hecarim.
Yes.
Sejuani, Aatrox.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting one.
Same. Thresh.
That's right, Thresh is one.
Mm-hmm. And if you hit one of them chosen, it gives you 7.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I thought there were 7 vanguards by default.
I thought you needed, and I actually thought you needed 2 vanguard spatulas. Turns out you need to hit at least 1 and get like a chosen, or like play 6 and high roll 2 vanguard spatulas or something like that, right?
Yeah, but the likelihood that you go 8 vanguard in a lobby where Vagar carry and or like mages exist is just
not a chance.
No chance, right?
Um, it's 6 Vanguard is already free win against Aphelios. So if you want to make that guy
Worst.
worse, then you just run 8, right? But yeah, you'll be rewarded, extremely rewarded, if you're able to hit 8 Vanguard. So it should feel good if you hit it in certain games.
Now we got before moving on to the cultist change, I think the only thing I wish we saw was a change, but they probably didn't consider it till after the final thing was like done with the patch. Was like, I think some of the mages power needs to be reduced, the percentage of AP they get or spell power.
Yeah.
Specifically Annie,
Mage.
but that's just my preference.
You know, though, so Mage is essentially the same trait from set 2. It's just now at 3 you can double cast. In set 2, you had to have 6 to get the double cast and the extra spell power. Now the difference between 3 or 6 mage is just the amount of spell power that you get. So the guaranteed double cast at 3, I think, is starting to feel good. But
it's good, but I just hate it that at 6 mages you have 120% spell power bonus, which is just absurd because in set 2 you had to hit 6 to get the same spell power. I think. Or no, you had to hit 8.
It was actually,
I think it was 8 mages to hit over 100%.
I can't remember what it was in set 2, but I think even at 6, and I'm surprised I can't remember because it was the only comp I played in set 2, but I think when you hit 6, you only got like plus 25 spell power or something like that. Like it's I feel like it's pretty small.
Yeah, it was very small.
Considering
it was like 30-40%, I think.
Yeah, it was a Mort Dog calls it a
70,
chase trade.
And then it went up to 100. Like, it was just so dumb. The sheer tankiness that Annie is so irking. I can't kill this unit when she's 3-starred, regardless of what comp I run. Annie is dummy thick and needs to be nerfed for the love of Jesus and my sanity.
I will also say 3-star Vigar with perfect items, Gunblade, blue buff, and either Death Cap or Jeweled Gauntlet or something feels a lot like set 2 Yasuo with perfect items reroll, where like basically the whole team would be dead.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And Yasuo would be the only one that's alive.
Yeah.
And
until the
he
Yasuo
just
changes, yeah.
Yeah, he ulted, got all his HP back, almost died, ulted, got all his HP back, and it feels bad to play against, but it does feel good when you hit.
Yeah. Moving on, we got a pretty sizable cultist change, because not only themselves, I think a lot of people in the community that play cultists, the power spike in between each, like from 3 to 6 to 9, is devastating. Like, there's a huge difference between them. So to help smooth it out, they're gonna make it where kind of what they did with last set with the Mecha Garen, the health of the Mecha Garen scales up based on the level of the units that make it.
Oh yeah.
So each star level of your cultist will grant Galio's 12% bonus HP and attack damage. So, for example, 3 1-star cultists will grant Galio 36% bonus HP on top of his base. So, you can see that you don't see much of a change at 1,000, or, at the first level. But the second level, his HP got cut in half, like the base HP.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got 6 1-star, I mean, that should be a 72% bonus minimum. So, I mean, that's almost to the original HP, just less still. Almost.
Yeah.
And then if you hit 9, I mean, it should be close to that devil number plus the additional 6, but I mean, it's just 6, 6, 6, 6. I don't know why they decided that to be Galio's base health when running cultists, because they're the devil, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a pun they intended or not, but It's
Yeah.
it's definitely a minimum 5,000 HP when you have 9 cultists. So they just edged it out a little bit. I think more fair against the play. Unless you
They definitely
unless you have a set and you just dunk them on the whole team.
they like to do things like this, like little subtle things. Like if you remember in set 3.5, Gangplank did 9,001 damage, so it's like, oh, it's over 9,000 or what, what have you. So, I hard agree with the change in this trait, because
You can hit if you hit 9, you're getting top 4 every time. Pretty close, consistently.
if you hit 9 and some 2 stars, right? So it's like you basically, it felt like mech, where like it was a free win if you got it online early, and then as the game goes late and you're slow rolling for all your 3 stars,
Yeah.
it felt like a free win, right? But it felt really bad where like you just activated the 9 trait but had like 4 1-star units and you just won because you activated the trait, and Galio would just come in and just basically knock up the entire map no matter where your positioning was. So I heard agree with putting the power into rolling for 2 and 3 stars. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's a interesting change. I think it's gonna be. I don't think it'll knock them off, but I think they'll still be just as powerful with this change, with the general idea.
Yep.
If anything, you'll see like a tiny health change to Galio, but if like I don't think it'll mean much.
Right.
Unless you just have 9 1-star cultist units for some reason, but I don't know. I don't think that's possible or very rare. Divine got reworked actually, where once they take attack 6 times or drop below 50 HP, Divine remove all crowd control and ascend, taking half as much damage and dealing 50% bonus true damage for the duration of the ascension. I think this is
Does that mean
a very powerful change for Divine units.
Does that mean for the rest of the fight, the rest of the round?
Yes. I believe so.
That might work out really well for me. I've been playing a supreme amount of Bonky Kong, so this puts more power into my hand. I don't mind this change, but there might be
Oh,
a
I
little bit
see.
of bias there.
I'm sorry. It's not for the whole round. I see. So when you have 2 divine, when it gets activated, it lasts for 4 seconds. When you have 4 divine, it lasts for 7. When you have 6, it lasts for 10. And then if you hit 8 with the chosen divine, it will last for 14.
Okay. Very, very interesting.
Like I said, I think this is a very powerful change for divine units. I think actually running straight 6 divine with whatever else you want to run with it, I think is going to be very, very viable and powerful, and should help a lot against Aatrox and Sejuani. Like, this is huge. So, even though all the divine units are frontliners, I believe.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of all of them, but
you got Wukong, you got Jax,
Aurelia,
Warwick, and Lee Sin. Yes, and Lee
okay.
Sin. And I believe there's another one. I missed one more, but because I believe
there's a way to hit 8 for sure. So you need like a chosen divine spat.
You definitely need a divine spat for 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to hit early 6 for sure. But I think 8's kind of like, I don't think it's mandatory. I think 6 and whatever else you run with is like super powerful. So, regards if you go Wukong carry, Jax or Warwick. So,
yeah.
Other than that, we got another fortune change. So they are actually scaling back a little bit of how much money you are earning. and the possibility of earning 5 cost drops or 5 cost units from those drops. So that's going to be extremely helpful for them. Or for people who can fit 3 fortune.
It impacts fortune players negatively, right? Isn't this a nerf? I think Mortdog was saying that they were getting too much.
Yeah, this is a very small nerf to 3 fortune, but the 6 fortune they nerfed it on 6 fortune. They nerfed the chances of getting a 5 cost unit, but the overall gold value get from the drops has gone up.
Okay.
So, but the chances of items from these drops didn't change. So you can still get items from these drops. The drop items did not change. So
for sure.
Fortune's a hard. I don't know if you tried it, but Fortune's a hard comp to pull off.
Never.
Hard to pull off effectively. So, but yeah, it 100% relies on you getting a chosen fortune to run it. So to run
for sure. Yeah.
But running 3 early, especially if you're lose streaking, super powerful.
Oh yeah, I bet.
All right. So that's good. That's all the general changes on this patch. Like I said, some pretty big changes, especially for shade players. Throwing some shade at you, I think it's time for you to learn something new, or flex around it. So
yeah.
Moving on to total, just general units itself. Nidalee getting a huge buff for her damage. Elise, 3-star Elise getting a huge buff. But 3 and 4-star Diana just 4-star Diana getting 1 orb cut off. I think the Nidalee buff is actually super huge. Like, you can win streak super hard off of just Nidalee alone, I think.
Yep. Bonus damage per hex. So the further it travels, used to be 10%, is now 20%. So that's double.
The distance damage doubled, which I think is super huge. I played a lot of Nidalee between warlords and sharpshooters. I'm a warlord abuser when I can.
For sure.
Lately, when I was climbing up, I was abusing warlord and set. This is another huge nerf coming. Aphelios turrets now stop firing when Aphelios is disabled. And other news: when Aphelios goes into GA, his turrets will stop firing.
Yeah, so
finally
it's slightly deeper than that. So if you stun him, they stop. If he's in GA state, he stops. But I could not be happier about this change than anyone else, except for maybe you, with the way you sounded so far.
I played it too, but it's so cancer. I've literally had 4 units left against his 1 on GA, and all the turns killed him. So it's just like, that should not be possible when a man's on his knees 1v4ing and his dirty little turns do the dirty work. But, I mean, I've also played it too, so I mean, I'm just as guilty.
I can't tell you the number of times I have felt really tilted when you wipe the entire board
and he's the last man standing.
You proc his GA, and there's literally nothing you can do. You can't kill other units. You just stand there and you take damage for his GA to finish, and then when he comes back, you've just died. So
his turn also procs the hunter passive. So if his turret shoots at that target that got marked, the turret does bonus damage to that target too. It's so insane.
Did it also stack Guinsu's?
Yes, the turrets also stacked his Guinsu's. Spirit also stacked on top of the Ginsu's. So it was just, if you ran Spirit, Aphelios, like Moonlight, oh my god.
Busted.
I did that once and I never did it again, but it was disgusting until this changed. But this is a very, very necessary baby reducing change that needed to happen. Even though as much as I like Aphelios and both Summoner's Rift and TFT, this change was necessary. Totally necessary.
Yeah, I agree. Hard
Three
agree.
3-star Jarvan getting a huge buff to his damage, went going from 500 to 750. Jack's mana pool got a little bit adjusted, going from 50 to 100 to 60, 110. I don't know what's the point in that, because Spirit Sojourn is a butt item, and he just moved his mana bar 10, like just 10. He went from 50. You still have a difference of 50 between the two. I don't like. What's the point?
Yeah, he either takes another auto attack to proc, or he dodges another auto attack to proc, right?
I don't get the point of changes like that. I don't know. I don't really understand. But Teemo getting a huge redonkulous buff for 3-star, going from 600 to 900 damage done. And his 2-star ability damage went from 300 to, oh, actually every level went up. Actually, so level 1 Teemo went from 200 to 300 damage now. Level 2 Teemo went from 300 to 450 now, which is, I think is an absurd amount of damage already. And level 3 Teemo, which I've hit multiple times, I felt like it does nothing, went from 600 to 900 fat damage base alone.
Well,
forget
now
Jinx carry. Put Teemo in, coach. Teemo's gonna carry these games now.
Carry Teemo on duty, I think. Yeah. Now it actually looks like you might feel good if you hit 3-star Teemo.
If you hit 3-star Jinx, it feels so good on a sharpshooter comp.
For sure.
Same with Jhin.
For sure.
But 3-star Jhin and a sharpshooter, it's a win every time. I've only seen it happen twice, but it was they cleaned the board every time in like 4 shots, literally. All right, moving on to 3-cost units. 3-star Kennen getting a huge buff, also going from 900 to 1350 damage, 1350 damage, folks. 3-star Teemo is no joke.
3-star Kennen.
Oh, did I say Teemo? I meant 3-star Kennen.
Yeah.
Sorry. One shoots darts and one does electricity. The hamster version of Kakashi. It's fine. I'm feeling.
They're both Yordles. Just one.
One's a ninja.
Yeah.
The other one's a little spurg.
Essentially, they're trying to make 3-star Kennen something you'd want to play. And apparently at 900, no one wanted to play 3-star Kennen. So this buff is hopefully going to allow you to want to play Kennen. But we'll have to see.
It's just more rewarding if you hit it. No one is still going to focus 3-star Kennen carry.
For sure. If you're going for...
If anything, having 3-star Kennen in a ninja comp now is just doubling down on both the buffs for both Kennen and the ninja itself. But 3-star Kennen in a... Oh, God.
Yeah. So...
Usually not the focal point. Even if you ran keepers, he is still not the focal point.
Yeah. I mean... Power shifting all over in the ninja trait, right? So we might see a spike in 3-star Kennens if you're chasing for ninja and you'll want that extra spell power. You might as well pick up extra Kennens while you're rolling down for Akali's, and then that's already 2 ninjas that you could potentially 3-star.
Keeper units and like Kennen they're never contested, rarely ever. The only keeper unit that's ever contested is Riven because of Dusk.
Right.
And Riven's just generally a good unit. Like you can slap almost any item on her. Kennen's kind of in the same boat too, though, but Riven's more powerful.
Yep.
The only other 3-cost unit that ate some nerfs in this case is Veigar. Good old Veigar. His AP scale, his spell power scaling went from 124 accordingly to 112. So he is getting less AP per unit he's killed with his abilities or spell power.
Yeah, basically gutting it in half.
I think it's still viable to
across
play
2 and 3
3-star
star.
carry Vagar, but it's not guaranteed win every time, I think, from it.
Yeah, yeah, I could definitely see that,
I still would like to
and
see
the
some mage
frustration.
nerfs. I still would like to see some mage nerfs, but that's okay. Next patch. Then we get. It looks like we got some. What the hell? Yeah, we got some very minute nerfs and one crazy nerf, but actually two of them. So Ari general HP went down from 650 to 600, and Ari's ability at 2 and 3 star level went down. So 2-star it went from 800 to 750. At 3-star, Ari's ability went from 4,000 to 3,000 damage. Which, to be honest, 3,000 damage Spirit Bomb, it's still gonna get the job done to what you want.
Yeah. I wonder how much of this came from Aegon's 3-star RE 9 mage comp in the 4v4 Madness tournament. Because he beat someone out even when that guy pivoted in or fit in 6 Mystic, right? But granted, if you hit 3-star RE, it should feel good, and so they're just taking some of that power back. But RE should still be pretty strong.
Yeah, but to me, I think like the power between mages and mystics should be like 1-to-1, right? Like if you're stacking mystics, the mages should not be able to absolute blow up the comp. Which I mean, 3-star Ari is like, oh, you have MR? What a joke! It's literally the Goku. I'm telling you, Goku absorbing all the power and throwing it. Nothing stops it. Nothing will stop a 3-star Ari unless you have like Assassin and just kill her before she gets an ability off. Or you just CC chain her.
Mm-hmm. So Mystic got stronger, and Ari's strength is just taken a little bit back. So
another nerf following along is 3-star Jin that I was talking about. Instead of doing 4,444% bonus AD damage on the 4th shot, it does 1,234. Which, I don't know if they're memeing either or this is their intention, but going from 444 percentage to 1234 percentage is just... I don't know if this was intended or not, or they're like, oh, that looks good. But it's literally basically a fourth of what it used to be for 3-star Jin.
He's is he cultist or dusk sharpshooter?
He's a cultist sharpshooter. A dusk sharpshooter is
okay.
Vayne.
Oh, that's right.
Which Vayne is still an absolute butt unit.
I'll be honest though. When you're running 6 dusk Riven and then you fit in Jin for sharpshooter, it felt really bad. I think a 1-star Jin with items.
Well, usually
this actually happened.
Usually, the people who put in Jin in the Dust comp also puts in Zillion and Elise for keepers and for cultists.
Right, but even like a 6 Dusk Jin, and imagine Jin being 3-star at that point before these nerfs. Even a 1-star Jin was one-shotting my 3-star Wukong with 6 Vanguard, and that just didn't feel good or correct even. He had to hit 1 Jin, and I had to hit 9 Wukongs, and still got 1 shot. And so I hard agree with this nerf. I think this nerf is
the 1-star
Pog.
Nothing changed that 1-star. Jin could still kill your 3-star Wukong. The 1-star Jin still could. It's just 3-star Jin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now instead of seeing 10,000 damage on the 4th shot, you might see 3,000, which is still a 1 shot in most cases.
Yes, but I mean, the only time I've ever seen 3-star Jin is in sharpshooter comps, anyways. So
true.
Which I haven't hit it personally. I got close once, but I've seen it hit multiple times in my games.
Yeah.
And it is the fastest round ever when it is hit. You think I'm joking? Round ends in like 4 seconds.
If you have 6 sharpshooter, 3-star Jin.
And
The
arms.
ricochet is still gonna do like
It does
5,000 damage.
yeah, it does 30% less damage than the original shot. So it's just like the original shot was like 30,000. I mean, 30% of that
Yeah.
is still like 10,000 damage.
Yeah, give or take.
Nobody survives a 10,000 shot.
So. True.
4-star Riven ate a tiny nerve. The slash wave went from 1,500 damage to 1,350. I don't think it means much of anything. Riven is still a powerful unit, still good unit, but the talent 4-star talent has been nerfed from 300%. The true strike damage went from 300% to 250% on Talon. Now this nerf I find pretty big because the only time you ever run Talon, let alone 3-star carry Talon, is in an enlightened comp. And when you hit 3-star Talon in enlightened comp, you pop off. But I think this will stop the pop off potential for Talon. And I think 6 enlightened now, for sure now, unless you go like a carry for some reason, will not be the same. Like you'll probably top 4, but you won't win.
Yeah, Talon right now feels like Irelia carry and cybernetics back in set 3. Basically, you depended on your team to do enough damage to put everyone in one-shot range, and then you just get a bunch of resets and win. That I think team fighting wise, that's what you look for when you run Enlightened Talon. So, big enough nerf, maybe you start playing a different Enlightened carry. Morgana seems to do a lot of damage still, right? So
what is I'm looking at the 5 costs. Sorry, I just want to know what is their goddamn obsessions with making these 3-star damage like just one number that repeats. Even though it's 5 cost unit, hitting a 3-star 5 cost, like regardless of comp, should win you the game. But come on, like Azir's damage going from 2,000 to 8,888. Like, come on, like really, 3-star Azir of all things. And then like 3-star Kane is still 6,666. The only change that happened was his nerf to level 1, and Kane's shadow form damage buff went from 75 to 50%. Like, okay, like that's not bad nerf. But why 6,666 when you already made Galio's health for the same amount earlier before the change to his HP? Like, this is like what even? And then
who knows?
Lillia kind of had some changes here where her level 1 and 2 sleep time went from 3.5 to both to 3 and 4 accordingly. Zillion now at level 2 can now have the ability to get ult 3 units. Zillion still can't ult himself, but a Zillion can ult another Zillion. Keep that in mind. But now the heal from it went from 700 to 500 for 2-star Zillion. Interesting Zillion change. That's all I can say. 2-star Zillion, I think it's still powerful with this.
Yeah, it might be.
I think any of the 5 cost units, level 1 and 2, are very powerful.
Yeah, it's going to be worth to note that when they come back from a Zillion ult, they gain attack speed for the rest of combat. So nerfing the HP amount that you get when you come back takes some power away, which is good.
Yeah, like I said, so I think good, interesting changes for Zillion. So
yeah.
Now we got some item changes going on here. Static Shiv once again getting touched, but going in order as I almost just throw myself out of the chair. Chalice of Power, the spell power bonus went from 30 to 40%, also known as the ice cream item. Whatever. Like, usually that's just an item you slam when you don't have anything else. Gargoyle Stoneplate bonus armor and MR now per enemy went from 12 to 15. I think that's a pretty powerful change.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I want to remark that I'm so glad they got rid of disarm and gave us a different item instead, because disarm was the worst feeling. If I was
Oh,
left with a chain and a cloak, I definitely would not mind slamming a stone plate. But
can you
disarm just
can you imagine 6 sharpshooters with disarm? That would be utmost. Can you? All right. Say we took the items from set one, like the curse star, disarm, everything,
right.
right? And we put it on 6 sharpshooters this set. Like it would be like 1,000 times worse than what gunslingers ever did. Oh
Um,
my god.
so I'll say yes, except Jinx, the carry in sharpshooters, normally has a QSS anyways, so the most important unit's not getting disarmed. It's fine. It's fine.
That would be utter cancer. Locket got actually some very considerable buffs, very big buffs.
Mhm.
What was this for each locket stack? Right. So the first locket it's 250, or went from 250 to 350. The second locket shield went from 300 to 450. The third locket went from 375 to 600 shielding, and then I don't know why you have a fourth one, but it went from 500 to 800. Anyways,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
think it's
locket stacking is still a thing, but it's still like with this change, it's doable.
yeah, at 3 star, it went up by 225. I think that's to account for your locket being on a 4 star Aphelios, or for like a 4 star
Yeah,
Moonlight.
I realized when I went from 500 to 800, those are the levels of the unit. I forgot it's based on that. I thought it was based
Yeah.
on how many lockets it was holding.
So if you happen to put a
I smooth
locket
brained it.
on 4 star Diana or Aphelios, it should feel pretty good.
Yeah, but
I like this change.
I think the locket change is very, very good. I think this was a change that more dog really, really wanted to happen, especially at level 1. The level 1 and 2, where you commonly have locket on them. So I think this is a very, very good item now, like a much better item than it used to be. Like I would never build a locket regardless. Like I actually just kept the items separate. Uh
Yeah.
Luden Echoes getting another buffer, another patch again, where it
Mhm.
deals bonus damage to shielded and crowd controlled enemies, similar to Static Shiv. Luden's Echo's base damage actually got dropped from 200 to 180, but the shielded or CC'd eats another bonus of 180 damage. Quicksilver ate a nerf going from 12 to 10 seconds. I don't know why the Static Shiv changed, but Static Shiv does 75 damage now, but Static Shiv bonus damage, meaning the damage it deals to shielded units, does actually 175 bonus true damage to shielded units. I think the reason why you have these Ludens and Static Shiv changes is to try to counterplay the the Locket buff, to try to cut through these shielded units faster.
Also, it felt bad if you ever had to slam a Ludens. It's like, well, I get rod stats and I get tier stats, and I don't have anything else to play. So
There's
it's
not a really good unit that utilize like Ludens since Kog'Maw set 2.
Sejuani with these changes. If she can cast enough times.
You really want to Ludens on Sejuani though?
I mean that's as long as she casts
I
once,
mean, I
that's
guess
a
if you
free
got no other
360,
items
right?
I guess if you got no other items to slam, I guess. But like when I think of using Ludens, like you want something that's like spammable, like an ability that's spammable and low cost mana. So like Akali is like the first one that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, a lot of those lower mana cast abilities
And
though aren't really CC, so
I
you're gonna
mean,
need to commit.
technically, this is gonna sound troll, but you could go blue buff, blue, or blue buff Ludens Kindred. Like I said, it's gonna sound super troll, but I mean, technically, that would probably be, I think, a very good option to go. I don't know why anyone would do it, but I don't think it would be as bad It may be trolly, but I don't think it would be bad.
Yeah, but even then, she would only get the extra damage off on shields, right?
I mean, she still do like 180 bonus damage, like this, like or the 180 base damage to the spread. Whatever it pops. But the bonus damage added, they have to be shielded, which only comes from Locket and Janna. Because I don't think there's another unit that shields. Well, it'll be Locket, Janna, or Shen when he dashes, but that's it.
Yeah, if you overheal with Gunblade.
Or yeah, but that's hard to justify because the units that uses Gunblade, which are Ari, Vhagar, and Cat, and they're usually wiping your team in one go. So
yeah, Diana maybe.
And the only other time I've ever seen Static Shift used effectively is like they just had no other items, and it's like an Ashe or Philios carry. I mean, even Philios now can't. Well, it's much harder to pull off now.
If I can't summon a Giant Slayer, for sure I'll go for a Static Shiv on Ashe, for example.
Static Shiv's good. I think Static Shiv's still a good item.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a bug with it where the lightning chain could break if it encountered an untargetable stealth unit. Shade. But now Static Shiv will proc through shade units. Regardless.
That actually sounded more like a bug.
It was a bug that they just fixed. I don't know that was a bug. I just know I've had problems where my ability would just disappear out of thin air on shaded units. But baby rage aside, I'm sure that you'll see it. Zeke's Herald bonus attacks went from 30 to 40%, and ZZ Rot Portal now taunts all nearby enemy at the start of combat for the wearer.
That's good.
Wow, that's a powerful change.
Yep, and a very worth it change, I think.
And the ZZ thing has 150 damage now when it spawns. That is an actual powerful tank item change.
You ensure you get... It's basically helping you ensure you get value out of ZZ Rot.
I think so too.
There are enough games.
It's still a very, very powerful change.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to bugs. Apparently there was a typo in Fortune that I guess we never saw. I'm glad they can admit their fault. I'm sure they got memed on for it. They clarified the Morello's tooltip where items apply effect when Holter deals magic damage.
I thought that was implied, but
I mean it was, but I guess just for the sake of new players and clarity that they added it in.
Okay. True.
Apparently they fixed an issue where the following units would show the wrong color on their spell's tooltip when given spell power. Like Tom Kench, Hecarim, Nunu, Azir, Kane. Yeah, I think Tom Kench was shown as blue. Or not blue, as like a green, like Summoner's Rift. I don't know about the others. Pike's ability now hits slightly in front of him, allowing him to hit corner units. That's a nice change. I think that's not really a bug, but that's a nice change. Fixed the rare issue where Strange Chosen would appear in the shop, but buying them would give you a 1-star copy of a different unit. Wow, it's
a weird bug. I've never seen it, but a lot of people
heard of that bug. That must have been super trolly and rage-inducing.
Yeah, Mortdog said a lot of people reported it to him and could verify that was happening. There's something else that was weird too, like you'd see a Chosen Exile in your shop or something, and that's weird because you only need 1.
Well, 2 gives you lifesteal. When you have Yasuo Kane, both of them gets 80% lifesteal on top of the shield. So that's why when you go 6 duelists, like you have to hit, if you go Yasuo carry, you have to hit Yone. Because it just escalates Yasuo power like through the roof. If you haven't watched Scar's newest video on the duelist comp when he played 8, super informative.
Busted.
Super
nice.
Powerful. Well, he got lucky and hit a spat. But the general idea how to play it, I think that's the
same
notion. Like he was going for 6 or I think 4, and then like things happened and it just escalated. Anyways, 8 duel is powerful. 6, if you're gonna play 6, you gotta hit Yone, especially also carry.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's also a high roll comp, by the way. So, Kane no longer casts if there are no enemies in range he can hit. which is super nice for people who play Kane. Set can no longer cast Showstopper on the enemy set who is out of combat due to the boss passive.
Nice.
That's so weird, but okay.
Yeah.
Fix some bugs where specific fortune loot tables were dropping a bit more than intended. Thanks, Leduc. So, very, very little bug changes, except for the pike change. That's, like, I think super good. The pike buff, or pike bug fix, buff, whatever you want to call it, change. And the static shiv one is a good change, too. Other than that, wow, it actually took us 55 minutes. I actually timed it on my phone. Like, no joke.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can see it. It's backwards, but...
Yeah.
But,
they didn't talk about the shop being reverted, which I thought was interesting, because Mort Dog mentioned it in his patch rundown, but it's not in the patch notes.
Reverted as in how such?
Okay. Yeah. So when you get 5 units in your shop and you pick up one of them, there's a chance it shows up in your next shop. But if you didn't pick up a unit in that shop, it was 100% guaranteed you were not going to see it in your next shop. And I actually think that's a really big change. And he mentioned it in his patch rundown, and it is not mentioned in these patch notes. So I wonder if they took it away, or if they just didn't mention it, or if people didn't notice.
I think it's still an idea. It's probably going to be in the next patch, or if not, the B patch of this one, the B patch of 1021. If there is going to be such a change like that, but I think I remember hearing about this now and him talking about it.
I wanna look out for it.
I say, sure it didn't happen like on the last patch. Because I think it happened on the last patch, didn't it?
He mentioned it in his patch rundown for sure, and
for this set,
his reasoning, yeah, he mentioned because he said it was similar to selling your carousel unit to make econ, and why they took that out, because it's related to doing enough research about the game and knowing these quote unquote hidden mechanics about the game that allow you to have an edge that a new person would never know unless they do it themselves,
or they watch streams. Which for most of the guys at the top of the ladder, they're watching streams 80% of the time and playing 20% of their time. But for me, it's like the opposite for me. I'm playing 80% of the time and watching 20%. So, because I'm unfortunately busy doing other things between YouTube and getting actual streaming done now. I'm actually streaming more, and I'm excited. I finally got a stable connection. But
That's good. I can feel it.
I'm still doing both. I've just been uploading videos at a slower rate because of it, but I haven't had anything I don't think decent besides me playing Phasmophobia. Yeah, I played Phasmophobia first time. Super scary game. Definitely a game you don't play by yourself, but highly recommend it for those who like horror games. Horror genre games, that is right up in there, dude. It is.
Oh, I bet.
It is definitely surreal, and all that revealed to me is how big of a pussy I am. If anything. Dude, like the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up most of the time. And you can tell in the videos too. It's super. Like it was just like it's almost pure gameplay. Like I almost did nothing. Like I just cut out the in between of the rounds and then just poop them out. It's just all pure gameplay on my channel. But other than that, did they say they're gonna release a B patch?
I don't think we'll know. The reason they do B patches is to see if something becomes absolutely busted. Yeah, for them to want to release a B patch, so they're gonna see. But they've been a lot more careful with changes lately, which I'm pretty stoked about.
Yeah.
I do want to keep an eye out for the shop mechanic change, if it just wasn't mentioned in the patch notes, but actually goes into effect.
Yeah. The only immediate effect I can see on this patch that I think Shade for sure will be knocked down a peg or two based on the changes here.
Hard agree.
I also think that I think 4 ninjas is going to be a lot more viable to play, and running hunter related comps I think are going to be a lot more effective than they used to be. But I also think secretly, I think running 4 or 6 divine comps are going to be really powerful.
Yep. They're going to spike up for sure.
That is what I'm feeling, what's going to like be really meta and strong to play. Definitely Ash related comps are going to be super contested. That's just how I feel. That's just what I believe. Oh my god, stop. My phone alarm, I don't know if you heard it. But I think overall, I think 6 Warlords is still going to be very viable comp to play. 9 is still super good. 8 Mages, unfortunately. 6 Mages, it's very, very strong to play. Unfortunate.
Yep.
Very unfortunate. I
Right.
think the power of duelist comps, I think, got knocked down just by a smidge with some of these changes in relation to it.
Sure.
Like the adept changes was, I think, was really necessary and really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that really the only thing that really counters duelist comps are hard CC vanguards, which they're still strong technically against them, and the mages, which they are still really powerful. I'm not saying it's impossible or that you shouldn't run it, but you can probably still get 4th, 3rd, you'll consistently hit it. You won't. If you're looking for, I think, the big climb the fastest, I think definitely hunters and divine is going to be the way to go. Maybe cultists. Still running
more Bonky Kong for me. Sounds like Bonky Kong got a buff with those divine changes. Can't wait.
I think so. This will be the last thing we talk about. So I think hypothetically, right? I think Bonky Kong, I think to go about it now is that you run 2 Vanguards, 4 Divine, and 2 Mystics. Maybe drop a Vanguard and you can run 4 Mystics instead. I think you definitely have to have 4 Mystics once I thought about it.
Or maybe, 4 Divine, 4 Vanguard.
Maybe Wukong, 4 Divine, 4 Mystics. Bam.
Yeah, it's flexible that way. Drop 2 Vanguards, pivot in 2 Mystics or something like that.
7 seconds in combat for 4 Divine, where you're taking reduced damage and dealing bonus true damage. That's a long time. 7 seconds is a long time.
Should be easier to hit if you get a chosen divine, right? So could be good.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, technically, these divine changes are going to be good against duelists too. So,
True.
Like I said, I think divine is going to be kind of secret OP and be slow to catch on at first. But definitely.
So play it.
Definitely, everybody is still going to be hitting the mages, the ashes. So that's going to be definitely probably the most contested comp. For the sake of your LP, do not. I think it's safe to say that you should not run Fates after today. Or once this patch drops, do not play. Sorry, I said Fates. I meant Shades.
Shades.
Yeah.
Don't play Fates. TFT Fates. Set 5. Where you at?
And set 4, technically. Okay. The 5th different set, but set number 4. Get it right, Vu. This is 5th episode talking about set 4. Get it right, man. You're molding. But other than that, I'll have, for those of you that want to see it again or listen to it, I'll have it uploaded on my YouTube channel on JellySlayer19. Probably in the next 24 hours from now. So if you like it, share it, like it, subscribe. I don't do what you... Please. Share it in other Discords, annoy him. Share it on Reddit. I don't care. Go for it. I'm not a Reddit user. I hate Reddit, actually. After the numerous times I've tried to post, I suck. I don't know. I'm not cool. Whatever. For those of you that haven't followed Velocity yet or joined his Discord, what are you waiting for? Hit that follow button if you haven't already. But other than that, you got anything else to add?
No, just thank you for all the hard work you put in for these podcasts. I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, no, nothing else on my end. Follow Jelly Slayer 19 as well. Don't forget to do that on YouTube and also on Twitch.
Oh, I make it pretty before I put it up on YouTube. I cut out like the unnecessary recordings I do at the beginning. Most people want to see it, but whatever. I haven't had a comment like that yet. But other than that, we'll see you guys probably 2 weeks from now when the next patch comes out. If not, maybe 2.5, depending on what we're doing in our lives. We do have jobs. We are busy people, but we appreciate your support, and you all have a good day.